Rob Romero. I'm here with Kyle Kingsbury, a veteran from the UFC and the Ultimate Fighter show. He's been training at TMT for, I believe, 2 weeks now?
Yes, sir.
Right. And he's heading home tomorrow. Just came off a really great wrestling, mixed martial arts seminar, and a lot of positive feedback. So Kyle, how long have you been here for 2 weeks? Who are you training with, and how's your experience been so far?
You know, I've been working with a few different trainers. All of them were good. You know, a couple of the guys that fit me best were Goy and Yag, and really just, you know, my flow with them, working with them. I don't think there was any other trainer that I've trained with in the past that I connected with that much for a complete stand-up game improvement. You know, obviously I have great boxing coaches, wrestling coaches, jiu-jitsu coaches, things like that back home, but coming out here, you know, and just working the pure Muay Thai has really elevated my game. I can feel just in 2 weeks, you know, and I'm definitely going to be back out here, you know, after every fight for sure.
It's hard because we have an affiliation with AK. We'd love to get our trainers to go over there, but just visas are an issue. If you were going to pick a couple trainers that you bring over, would they be the two to bring over to California?
They would definitely be the top of my list, Goy and Yak, just because of their style. I think translates very well to MMA. Yak especially, you know, very fast, very speed-oriented, power. He doesn't, you know, sometimes with traditional Muay Thai, you know, things are slowed down, but with him that's not the case. You know, it's very applicable to what we do in the cage.
Yeah. It's different, obviously, when you're training in a martial art, you know, specializing in something versus making it applicable for MMA. Did you feel like he was able to, or the trainers you work with were able to kind of grasp where you were coming from as far as needing to modify some of your striking for MMA, or is that something you'll bring back home kind of?
They did. Yourself? They were able to do that. The thing is that they didn't try to change me. You know, that was the big issue. Sometimes, an example, you know, you work with a new boxing coach, and he wants to give you a traditional boxing stance, you know, and that's fine for boxing, but for MMA, you know, you're just asking it taken down or get your front leg kicked out from you. So being able to work, you know, with a traditional boxing guy and keep your same stance is crucial. Same thing here, you know, when I come to this Muay Thai camp, I want to improve my striking all over, but I don't want to change my stance necessarily. You know, there's certain things obviously that I'll have to do, minor adjustments, but as long as it's well within my grasp, you know, and I have kind of a feel for what I'm going to do already coming into it, then, you know, I'm able to pick up and work from there much more quickly than I would if I was going to have to start from scratch with a brand new stance.
Now, when did you first get into martial arts? Not specifically mixed martial arts, but was wrestling your first specialty? Or,
you know, I started wrestling in 7th grade. I got into it just because I thought it would actually help me playing football, which it did, you know, but football was my main thing. I never really thought of wrestling as anything more than that, just a tool to help me get better at football. And, you know, maybe if I was in a scrap on the street, I'd be able to take some guy down, you know.
Right. Okay, so from there, when did you know, what was the point in your life where you're like, mixed martial arts seems like a career choice for me, you know, I want to get involved in this?
You know, I really got into MMA after football ended. You know, I finished up playing football in college at Arizona State University, and you know, when it ended, I didn't I know that I knew I wasn't going to go pro or anything like that in football. I'd always loved the sport of MMA, and I've always loved fighting, but you know, it's different fighting somebody you don't like on the street versus fighting somebody who's trained that, you know, you've never met before. You have no reason to hate this guy, you know, and he may very well be better than you, you know, so I didn't know if I would enjoy that. And you know, I started training MMA just to stay in shape. And I kind of bounced around from a couple different gyms out in Arizona, and when I walked into one, the guy who owned the gym ran his own promotion out there, a local smaller show. And he said, "Hey, you're big, do you want to fight?" And I kind of laughed at him and said, "What are you talking about?" And he said, "No, I'm serious, do you want to fight?" And I said, "You know, I've always thought about it, but I never really knew if I, you know, would like it or not." And he said, "Well, why don't you just get in there? We'll give you somebody that's, you know, not too good, see if you like it. You know, you get your feet wet, and if you like it, you can continue on." And that's what happened. You know, my first fight I won in 19 seconds with knees to the stomach. Second fight I won in 29 seconds with knees to the stomach. And, you know, it's just a huge rush. You got all your friends there from ASU football we're watching. My family's there, you know, all my friends from high school were there. And it was a big deal, you know, and really exhilarating. When you play a team sport your whole life, you're used, you know, as a defensive end, I'm getting a sack, you know, maybe once or twice a game at best. That's my moment to shine. And I got a helmet right from me. I know who the hell you are, you know. But when you're in there in a single sport, and you're inside, you know, the cage, I mean, there's just nothing like it. I mean, you have your cornermen, you have your teammates that build you up to that fight. But when you finally get to that day where you fight, it's all on you to make it count, you know, and when you do that successfully, there's no other feeling like it. So very addictive, and that's what's kept me in the sport.
Now, a fighter question. I've noticed it's very hard to remain focused on the fight and also listen to your corner. That's something I have trouble with. Do you find that you have trouble with it? Are you able to hear the corner over the crowd or anything like that? Like, what is your advice to fighters coming up when they're in the middle of the ring and they're starting to get tunnel vision? How can they also maintain that objective perspective from their coaches on the side if you maybe see things they can't see?
Well, I would attack it with two different answers here. One thing, addressing tunnel vision, first of all, it all comes down to staying centered inside. I'm a big fan of yoga, a big fan of breathing. I meditate. I wouldn't say that I go as far as Diego Sanchez with it, but I've worked with a great sports psychologist in Al Fuentes, who's worked with a number of other top-level fighters, guys, former champions in the UFC.
Sure.
He's a terrific guy, and one of the things that he focuses on with me and other clients that he has is breathing techniques. And we go over several different breathing techniques, and the reason why is because your body's emotions are controlled with your breathing. Your brain reads your breathing. If you're breathing fast, you start to go into a fight or flight panic mode. Same thing. I get in the octagon, and I'm breathing fast, and I'm not thinking about my breathing. I'm just letting my heart rate rise. It starts to snowball. Everything snowballs, and then my vision comes in here. I can't hear anything. I can't see anything. All I can see is whatever I'm focused on. It might be his eyes or his mouth, and then punches and kicks are coming from all angles. I get knocked out. By focusing on your breathing, you stay even keel, and then you're able to see and control things and hear things better. With the cornerman, that's a different scenario. You got 3 corners you're allowed in the UFC. I really only hear one guy. I hear Bob Cook. I hear him loud and clear. He's got a distinct voice. I hear him every fight. Occasionally, I come back in between rounds and I'll listen to everybody. Coach Dave Camarillo, I'm listening to him nonstop. Great coach. If Kane's in my corner, I'm listening to him. Wheatsy, my boxing coach, they all got good things to say. But when I'm in the fight, all I hear is Bob Cook. So, I don't know how to focus on anybody else other than him.
All right, man. Well, last but not least, what are your future fight plans, and when do we expect a return to Tiger Muay Thai?
Future fight plans and return. Well, like I said before, I separated my rib a week before my last fight, and they give you a 6-month suspension for that. So I think I'm cleared to fight again April 24th of 2010. I'll look to get back in May or June, most likely. Whenever they can fit me into a show. Don't know yet where, who, or when. They usually tell you that about 8 weeks out from the fight, who you're going to get and where it'll be. And I'll pretty much just plan on coming out here after every fight. I'll just section a little bit of my purse off so I can bring my girl out and get out here for my vacation combo training. So this is definitely the place to go, and I'm very happy with my trip here. I'll be back soon.
Awesome. Well, it's been great having you, man.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much, brother. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.